This video, I'll be doing question number 2 of the 961-841 October-November 2021 past paper. I did question number 1 in my previous video. So a program written using object-oriented programming stores pictures as objects. The program stores the dimensions of the picture, the color of the frame, and a description of the picture. The class has the following attributes and methods. So this is all the information. The constructor takes the picture description, frame, color, height, and width as parameters. So these are all the parameters in our constructor, and sets these to private attributes. So the hint here is that when attributes are private, we do self dot underscore underscore. So write the program code to declare the class picture and its constructor. So let's do this. Question 2. We have class picture, and our constructor is going to take self description, width, height, and frame color as parameters. Let me just confirm. Yes, picture, frame, height, and width. And all of these are private attributes. So let's do this. Let's create the attributes. First we have description. We'll set it to description P. So this is the constructor of our class picture. Let's move on to the next part. The four get methods return the associated attributes. For example, get description returns the description. So these are all the get methods: description, height, width, and color. So let's write the get methods. Get methods just take self as their parameters. This will return self dot description. Lastly, we have get frame color. So here are our four get methods. I think my names are a bit different from the names given here, but you need to make sure that in your exam, when you're writing these methods, they have the same name as the one given in the question. The method setDescription takes a new description and writes this value to the appropriate attribute. So setDescription will set our description. This will take self as parameter and new description as parameter. And it will set this value to new description. This was also pretty simple. Now let's move on to the next part. Write program code to declare an array type of picture with 100 elements. Okay. So I will take array pictures. And we need to declare it with elements of type picture. So for that, the array must contain something. So I'll do for I in range 100 pictures dot append. I'm going to append an element of type picture, and here first I have description, which is string, so I'm just going to take quotations. Then width and height are both integers, so I can just take 0 and 0. And frame color is also a string, so I can just take quotations. So all of this will be empty, but it will have elements of type picture. So now let's move on to the next part. The text file picture.txt stores the data for the pictures in the order description, width, height, and color. For example, for the first picture in the text file, we have flowers 45, 50, black. The data read into the program from the text file is stored in an array of type picture. We made the array. The main program and the function will need to access the array data. The function readData opens the picture file, reads the data, creates a new object of type picture for each picture, writes each object to the array, raises an exception if the file is not found, counts and returns the number of pictures in the array. So this is my text file. It has all of this data. So let's write the code. So my function name is readData, and it's going to take the picture array as a parameter. Let's take the file name. So I just copied the path. Let's take a counter because we need to count how many picture elements are there. Because it's related to files, I'm going to use try and except. So let's just write except IO error, and this will print could not find file. Okay, so let's write the main code. First, let's open the file. I'm going to open it for reading because I need to read the data. So the first line stores the description. So I'm going to take a variable description and do file dot readline and dot script so that all the empty space is removed. So then I'm going to add the condition while description is not equal to, I'm sorry, my laptop's acting up. It's not equal to empty. So here, when I did read line, I will get this first line, flowers. Then I will read 45, 50 black, and then I'll do read line again. So for each picture, my first element is description. So I want to keep reading till there are no other descriptions left. So after gold, when I'll move on to the next line, there won't be a next line because all of the data has been read. So I'll add the while loop. Then I'll take width, file dot readline. Why readline again? Because now width is going to be the next line. And let's strip. Okay, then after width we get our height, which is also the same as this. We will convert it into integer. And after height we have frame, which is file dot readline dot strip. Now we have width, height, and frame. Now I'm going to add this in my picture array. I'm going to take here a counter, the counter that was given above. And then I'm going to add this. In description, we'll get description. In width, we'll get our width, height, and frame. So now this will be added to the array. and then I will increment the counter, and then I will change the value of description to file.readline.strip. So just to explain this, first I read not this is not in the while loop. So before I start the while loop, I'll read the first description, which is flowers. After that, I go in the loop. Right now my description is not empty. So then I'll read width, height, and frame. So by doing this, readline will read width, then height, then frame. Then when all of this has been read, I will add this to my picture array, and then I will update my description to the next line. So after black, it will go here to a new description, landscape, and then the loop will start all over again. So after the loop, I will close my file, and after all of this, I will return counter and my array. So let's move on to the next part. The program calls the function read data. Write the main program. Okay, so I'm gonna call read data, and I'm gonna take my pictures array as parameter. Now read data returns two values, so I'm gonna take a count, or I can just take number of pictures and my array pictures, and then it will return the value counter to this and picture arrays to this. So the next part is the main program needs to ask the user to input their requirements for a picture. The user will enter the color of the frame, the maximum width, and the maximum height. Program will then search the array of pictures and output the picture description, the width, and the height of any pictures that meets the requirements. Okay, so let's write the code. So I'm going to ask the user to input all of this. So I'm going to take user width, the input, enter your maximum width, then it's going to be user height, which will be the same as this. Instead of width, we'll have height. Then I will have the frame color. And then I will print match shown below. Sorry. Now I'm going to run a loop over my pictures array to see if there are any matches. For I in range 0 to number of pictures, if picture I dot get color, I'm going to get, let me see if this matches, get frame color. First I'm going to check the frame color. If that matches, then if Then after I get the height, I'm gonna see the width. So if all of these conditions are true, then, sorry, it's gonna be, then I will print pictures dot I dot get description, and the width. This looks a bit confusing, but it's not. It just looks long. So now the matching frames have also been printed. So what this question was asking was that you see in the array if there are any matching frames. So first we see if the frame color equals, then we check if the height is less than or equal to user height, because the user height as told in the question is our maximum height. As you can see, maximum width and maximum height. So then after you check the height, then you check the width, and then you print this. Now let's finally run this code. Okay, so let's check the file. Let's take 4550 in black. This error says that we shouldn't be converting this to string, so let's remove these. Now let's run this again. 4550 and black. So here's our output. Match is shown below. Flowers 4550, people 2020, landscape 3045, and landscape 2537. So let's check. We have these, this, but this is not black. So let's see. Here we have a black one, and here. So you can see that the matches that we found were accurate. Let's see the next part. Test your program by inputting the following search criteria. Oh, we already did that. Black 100, 100, silver 25, 25. Let's do it with this as well. 100, 100, black. For this, we found these. And then let's run it for 25, 25, and silver. So here we found no matches. Here question number 2 ends. In the next video, I'll start with question number 3.